Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Nathan McNair from Pandasaurus Games, looking at Dinosaur Island, which I believe is a Jonathan Gilmour.
It is
design.
with Brian Lewis.
Okay,
as a co-designer on this one.
not final box. Obviously,
Yeah, this is final-ish, but yeah, final-ish.
Okay,
getting there.
Okay.
So Dinosaur Island is a worker placement, resource management Eurogame about making the world's coolest dinosaur theme park.
Those never work out. I don't know why anyone would keep trying to do that.
It works out great in this game. No one ever gets eaten in it.
All right, good.
I promise.
Okay.
So it's a pretty simple game. It looks like a lot, and this is a one-player setup. So everyone's going to have their own park board and their own lab board, but I just got it set up for one player here.
Okay.
So there's 4 phases to the game. The first phase is the research phase, and you can see very final components here with my handwriting on them. You're going to have 3 researchers, level 1, 2, and 3, and at the beginning of the turn, you're going to roll DNA dice, 2 per player plus 1.
Okay.
So on your turn, you can, say, use my level 2 researcher to get 2 purple DNA, and I'd take this dice, and that actually multiplies, so I would get 4 purple DNA.
Okay.
You'll note I have a limiter here at 5. I cannot hold all of it, so I get as much as I can.
Right.
But it's gone up a bit. I could also use a researcher to acquire a dinosaur recipe. We have large carnivores here. We require a level 3 researcher. Small carnivores, a 2 or a 3. And herbivores, any of them can get. So I can come here and I can grab a T-Rex recipe and I can place that in my park. And hopefully I'll make a T-Rex later.
Okay.
The last 2 things I can do is I could place a researcher here. And if you'll notice, I was kind of complaining about not having enough storage. I could have instead bumped up my DNA storage capacity.
By however much.
I used a level 1. That was probably a bad move if you're trying to win the game, but you could. The last thing you can do is you could take him and pass with him instead, any of them, and bring them into your worker pool for phase 3. So I'll pretend I did that instead of that.
All right.
So it's one action per round. Everybody's going to place all 3 of their researchers.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is the market phase. Here you're going to have 2 rounds of purchasing 1 item per round. You can buy a specialist who's an employee who helps you do things. So for instance, at the $2 level, I could buy a ride operator, hire a ride operator. Or I could jump down here and for $4 hire a lab designer, and they're going to give you different passive abilities in the game. If they have this symbol, you're also going to add a worker to your pool permanently for the rest of the game. Okay. So let's say I pay $4 and I hire a lab designer. I'm going to get a worker, spend $4. It would come back around to me. A couple things to go over here. So specialists, these are rides. Rides tend to give you extra spaces for patrons. They might give you some excitement. They might give you some victory points. But you can purchase rides. They're going to be the cost listed on the ride plus the level it's at. So this guy would be 8 right now. Lab upgrades, you pay $2, $3, $4, or $5. And these are actually going to come to your lab board and give your workers additional places to go and do actions.
Okay.
Last thing you can do, notice there's some dice rolling. If you like Euro games, you might be a little wary, like what if I need doesn't come up. At the $2 level, you can discard something from this row and get 2 basic DNA, which are the DNA on the left side. $3, discard something, get 3 basic DNA. $4, discard something from this row, get 1 advanced DNA, which are these 3. $5, discard something from this row, get 2 advanced DNA.
Okay.
So there's always a way to buy what you need. You're never blocked out of getting the DNA.
Although it's probably not what you really want.
It's not what you want. It's better to get it here, or to get some specialists or some of these, like gain 1 advanced DNA might be a really good lab tile to buy. So lots of ways to mitigate your dice rolling risk. Once everybody's purchased twice, you're going to come to your research phase. If everyone knows what they're doing and have played the game a few times, you can do this simultaneously because everyone has their own board.
Right.
And you can do things like combine basic DNA to create advanced DNA if you didn't get the advanced DNA you need. You can combine DNA to spend it to make dinosaurs. So let's say I wanted to make a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I need a blue, a pink, a yellow, a red, and 2 green. I'm nowhere near making that guy. Okay. But he's worth a lot of points. But you can spin DNA, make dinosaurs, and these will not be wooden cubes in the final version.
But dinosaurs.
Dinosaur meeples.
Yeah, why not?
The other thing you can do, and I didn't bring these tiles, this guy only has room for 1 dinosaur. You can come here to the tool bench and you can upgrade your paddock size. Make it larger, you can hold up to 4 of each kind of dinosaur.
Okay.
So you're going to go through this, everyone's going to place their workers, make dinosaurs, make their park better. One thing you should probably do is make your park safer. Dinosaurs have a threat level.
Okay.
Herbivores that come, the starting dinosaurs that everyone starts with has 1 threat. Herbivores have a 1 threat. Small and large carnivores both have 2 threat. So every time you make a dinosaur, your threat level goes up. If you are not paying to increase your security level, these parks never work out, as Eric may have mentioned earlier, which will bring us to phase 4.
Right.
Phase 4, you're going to come into this bag and draw meeples, or they're going to be little meeple visitors, equal to, that's not supposed to be in that bag, equal to your excitement level. So I'm going to fake that I had an excitement level of 6.
Okay.
Right now, white cubes are paying customers, green cubes are hooligans. Hooligans do not pay to get into your park.
Right.
So I would gain $5 for people paying to come in. There are plenty of ways to mitigate hooligan risk, which is something you may want to pay attention to as you're playing the game.
Okay.
They're going to come into rides. That's a dinosaur pet. They're going to come into your park where you have spaces for them. So you want to make sure you've made dinosaurs each attract 1 person. So as your excitement goes up, you need to make sure you're buying enough spots.
Right.
Then, after I've gotten my money, I'm going to look at my risk, and I'm going to say I had security of 4 and a threat of 6. The dice, you'll notice, it's probably really hard to see. Have dots as well. The most dots that are not purchased come over here and add to the threat level that round for everybody. So let's say the gap is 3. Hooligans get eaten last because they're shifty. 3 of my guests are going to be eaten by dinosaurs.
Yes.
I'm going to lose a victory point for each person eaten. I'm going to gain a victory point for each
You still
paying
have
guest.
the money though.
Oh yeah, you get
You
we're
got
not
their money.
dumb.
You got their money first.
Look, we know how this
Okay.
works. You
Yes.
get their money before they get in and get eaten.
All right.
And you're just gonna go around and around. Cool thing about this game, and you're not gonna be able to see this. That's okay.
Here.
At the beginning of the
Still
game,
mention.
you're gonna have there's in-game condition cards that are gonna come out.
All right.
Once all but one of these has been achieved by a player, that's the last round of the game. If you want a 60-minute game, 2 players, 60-minute game with 4 players, you put out objectives equal to the number of players plus 1. If you want a medium-length game, you add 2, longer game 3 or 4. You can scale this game from an hour to 2.5 hours, regardless of player count, using these. So pretty neat. There's also some plot twist cards. So at the beginning of the game, 2 cards come out that are going to break the rules some way.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to walk in a strategy with the game. Every time you play it, you're going to be trying to do something a little bit different.
Okay. All right.
And this should be out August. It's up on Kickstarter for 8 more days. So
Right.
we have a deluxe version with metal coins and some other nice things.
That's
but
right.
should be out August.
Working dinosaurs.
Real dinosaurs.
That's right. This is you wouldn't believe the technology. All right. Thanks for the overview.
Yep.
Nathan of Dinosaur Island.
Awesome.